Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel, all 8 of you, because I have 8 subscribers now. Last video, I was saying all 7 of you. Somebody subscribed in those last 2 days, so thank you for whoever that was. But welcome back to the channel. My name is Giggity, real name is Mark, and in today's video, we're going to be ranking all 28 Call of Duty Vanguard multiplayer maps from worst to best. This is part, I want to say 6 in our mini-series that we're doing, where we're ranking all multiplayer maps from every Call of Duty game from worst to best. We're not doing it in any particular order. We started with Black Ops 6, then we did Black Ops 2, then Ghosts, and Modern Warfare 3 2023, and then recently we just did, actually, is that it? I think that was the last one, actually. No, Black Ops 4. We just did Black Ops 4, and now we're doing Vanguard. Reason why is I just want to get Vanguard out of the way. I hated this game. It was my least played Call of Duty game for sure. There's not a doubt in my. I prestige in this game because I prestige in every Call of Duty, but I'm pretty sure that was it. I don't think I even got to Prestige 2, which is by far the worst I've ever had in a Vanguard in a Call of Duty game. So with that being said, I want to make it very clear that this is all personal opinion, and I really do not know much about the DLC maps in this game because, like I just said, I didn't play this game pretty much at all. However, I did go back really quick before making this video and played every map against bots just to refresh my memory, so it's mainly just going to be based on vibes, if I'm being honest, and I guess how they play a little bit, but keep in mind it's how they play against bots. Okay, some of these are battle maps or blitz maps, meaning that they're meant to be played with more or less players, which is something that Vanguard tried doing, and I actually do think it was a good idea, but that means that casual 6v6 scenarios, some of these maps may be too large or too small, so keep that in mind. I am also a very casual player overall, so even if I did play this game a lot, this is not like a sort of a competitive opinion here. None of my lists are, so please don't think that it is. Also, first of all, I'm not ranking the Champion Hill, which is pretty much this game's version of Gunfight, or any of the ground war maps, because I didn't play any of those once, so I'm not gonna do that. And then this is also the smallest amount of multiplayer maps in any COD, I'm pretty sure, like 28 maps total after all DLC and everything. I'm pretty sure that's the smallest amount of 6v6 maps ever made. That's really bad. And finally, we're splitting it up into 6 tiers: the awful tier, bad tier, mediocre tier, good tier, amazing tier, and the best tier. Now, song of the day is called Gotti by Jack Boys and Pop Smoke and Travis Scott. It's another rap song, so if you don't like rap music, obviously don't listen to it, but if you do like rap music, give it a try. I think it's pretty good. Sorry for wasting 2.5 minutes of your time. Let's get right into the video. Alright, and my least favorite 6v6 multiplayer map, like I said, I'm not ranking Champion Hill or any ground war maps. 28th place is Berlin. Berlin is dark, depressing, and absolutely huge for regular 6v6. It's one of the maps, like I said before, that was clearly meant to be played with more players, maybe a 10v10, 12v12 scenario, but unfortunately nowadays games like that are just not possible to find, so you're probably going to be playing 6v6s, and it's not going to be fun. It just won't. Also, I want to make this really clear. I guess I'll rank there's only 4 Champion Hill maps anyways, and the 4 gunfight maps. They're called, I think, Market, Train Yard or something like that. There's Airstrip, and then there's another yard one, I don't know, Rail Yard, I don't know, and they're just not that they're not that fun anyways, and there's only 4 of them, like I said, so I hope none of you guys mind. But anyway, that was, yeah, Berlin sucks. Coming in at the number 27 spot, however, is going to Demyansk. I don't remember this map, but when I looked it up, they said that this is not a DLC map, so I guess this is a base game map. It kind of reminds me of that COD World War II map, actually, but that was so much, if it is based off that, it played a whole lot better in COD World War II. Also, I looked it up real quick just to find out what the 4th Champion Hill map was, because it was driving me nuts. It's called Courtyard. Courtyard is the 4th one. But yeah, like I said, none of them are really that worthy of talking about anyways. But yeah, Demyansk it's a snow map, which is obviously super cool and everything like that, but I feel like I remember this map, and it drives me nuts, but it didn't play well against bots, so I can only imagine it doesn't play well against real people. Alright, coming in at 26th place in the final one for the awful tier before I get into the bad tier. There's really not that many bad maps in this game, if I'm being 100% honest. The game, yeah, it sucked, but the maps weren't horrible. In 26th place is Gondola. Gondola's massive. Dude, this feels like it was supposed to be a ground war map. I don't know. Like I said, I went back and played this against bots, so maybe it plays a whole lot better against real people, and I'm just like sounding like an idiot right now, but against bots, dude, it took me, I had to like take out a life insurance loan before I went to go find an enemy because I was worried I was going to die on the way over there. It took me forever just to find an enemy in this freaking map. It was not fun at all. Alright, but now we're into the bad tier. So maps in this tier are, don't get me wrong, by no means good maps or anything like that, but they're at least playable, and coming in at 25th spot is Paradise. Paradise is like if you are a sniper, Paradise is probably your favorite map ever made because it is the most long-range engagement map of all time. It's another map where I feel like it could have been easily a very, very ground war heavy map. There's like the entire, like, yeah, sure, the middle is kind of close quarters because what map isn't close quarters in the middle of a Call of Duty game? But like the sides are literally just like, just do not go over there because Chris Kyle will be sitting up in one of the freaking bunkers that they got all around this map, just picking heads off. Coming in at 24th place is definitely a DLC map. Like, I do not remember it from the base game, but for some reason I remembered playing it. I don't know why that is, but this game's weird. Everything about this game is weird. I feel like it's from a different dimension. It's called Casablanca. Casablanca is like a weird, like, I guess you could say slum style building setting, but it's not slummy. It's like nice, and I don't know what you would call this. Like, where is this from? I guess Casablanca is where it's from. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it's not a bad map. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't really care for like the vibes, the aesthetic of it, or anything like that. At least it's not massive though. Coming in at 23rd place reminds me a lot of the very new Black Ops 6 map that they just added. I forget what it's called, but it's called Hotel Royal. Hotel Royal is it's like the complete opposite of Paradise. It's a very close range map. Every engagement is close range and everything like that. The outside part where you're running on the roof slow, I don't like that part at all. I just feel like every engagement there is just not fun. It doesn't feel like Call of Duty. But then the inside reminds me too much of Das Haus. And so it kind of just like is this weird combination of like bad parts where it makes kind of the whole map just not play that fun in my opinion. Coming in at 22nd place is the like original large map, I feel like, from like the base game, Red Star. This map I do remember because it was, like I said, an original map. I remember this map, you pretty much fought in the building and like the little alleyways behind the building, and the entire rest of the map was just dead space. You would spawn over there and just use it just to run to the building and then get into fights. And it was so frustrating because literally Red Star would have been so much better. It would have been a good map if they just cut that entire like courtyard part out and just spawned people on either side of that building and just made that the map, because no one fights in the courtyard anyways. It's just so large. Why is every map large? Coming in at 21st place, and the final one for the bad tier before we get into the average tier, is called Sphere. Sphere is a like facility map, which is, you know, obviously vibes wise and like setting wise super freaking boring. Nobody cares about that. But it's okay. It's got some outside portions, so you don't have to be in the facility the entire time, and the outside kind of reminds me of like this weird like western style town, which isn't bad. I don't hate Sphere so much, but I definitely would not want to play on this again. All right, but now you're into the average tier. So maps in this tier are just average. You know, I'm not gonna be mad, but I'm not gonna be happy that I'm playing on it. And coming in at 20th place is Oasis. Oasis is a OG map from the base game, and it's a desert style map where most of the gunfights will be like in these like ruined buildings and stuff like that, which is okay. I mean, the only downside to Oasis is if somebody gets a kill streak, an aerial kill streak in this map, just give up, just leave the game, because there's absolutely zero cover on this map. And then on top of that, one of the spawns, like the actual only cover is this little like tank that you can hide behind, and that's it, and it's really frustrating. Coming in at 19th place, however, is going to Tuscan. This is, like I said, Vanguard has maps that don't really play that bad, and this is one of them. Tuscan didn't play that bad for me. It's a DLC map, so like I said, like this, the DLC maps, Sphere, Tuscan, I didn't play them with like real people, so I don't have an exact like, you know, reference, but it didn't play that bad against bots. The only downside is no maps in Vanguard, I feel like separate themselves setting wise. They're all exactly the same. Like Tuscan reminds me just like Oasis and all these desert maps, and it just doesn't really separate itself. A perfect example of that, as a matter of fact, is 18th place being Fortress, because Fortress, it's just an average Joe freaking desert style map. It's another map that I didn't actually play in the game against real people. It's a DLC map, so I did go back and play against freaking bots, but I just like this map just like completely blanked out of my memory the second I was done playing the game. It was just like, it's just another desert style map that's just, in my opinion, not that separated from the rest of the maps. Boy oh boy, would you look at that. Coming in at 17th place is a map called Desert Siege. I mean, what was going through Call of Duty Vanguard developers' minds when they were just making desert maps after desert maps after desert maps? They're no different. Desert Siege, Tuscan, Oasis, Fortress, all these maps, even like freaking Paradise in Casablanca a little bit, are just like, they're just so forgettable. And that's the problem with Desert Siege. Did it play bad? No, it just played like an average Call of Duty map, but it's just like the setting is just so freaking, it's just a desert style map. All right, finally we're done talking like sounding like a broken record here, because 16th place is going to Das Haus. Das Haus is, I feel like, everybody else's favorite map from Vanguard. I do not agree with that. I think it's a very average map because it's a small map, and normally I do like small maps over big maps, but this small map doesn't really play that well, man. It's all indoors, and it's like just the closest quarter combat, and it's really unfortunate because a lot of small maps, like something like Shoot House, for example, there are long range engagements, but there are also close range engagements, but you got to work to get into a close range engagement in those small maps. This map just hands you the close range engagement the entire fight, and so anybody with like a sniper or LMG or anything are just gonna have a bad time on this map. And then the setting is just boring. It's just a big house. All right, coming in at 15th place in the final one for the average tier before we get into the good tier is finally a map that like separates itself vibes wise, Gavutu. Unfortunately though, Gavutu doesn't play that well. Of course, the one time that they're like, hey, here's a map that's different from just a random boring desert style map, and then it's just too large. That's the problem with Gavutu. It's too large. The entire beach section of Gavutu is just like not playable pretty much. And then the middle lane, there'll just be snipers holding down hard scopes. The crashed boat thing is pretty cool though. Like the storm going on in the map, it's cool. This is an original map, so I did play it, and like I actually had a pretty fun time on Gavutu sometimes. But I do think it's just slightly too large. All right, but now we are into the good tier, and coming in, maps in these tiers are literally just good maps. I actually think that some of these maps in this tier, amazing tier, and even the best tier, obviously, do deserve remakes, and 14th place is a perfect one of that. Decoy. Decoy was a fun map. It's a small map. The only problem with Decoy is the entire center is literally no man's land. There is quite literally no way to really flank players on Decoy, and that's a little frustrating because obviously that's a big play style for people that don't have the best aim. Cough cough, me. I don't have the best aim. I can't really take my one-on-one gunfights that well, so I like to play Call of Duty in a sense where I flank around. Maybe I'll get into 1 or 2 gunfights on the flank route, but then once if I overcome those challenges, I can get behind the enemies and really do some damage. Decoy is just not possible because it's a very like small, fast-paced setting map. Coming in at 13th place, however, is going to Desolation. Again, man, it's like, I don't understand what their design choices were with Call of Duty maps in this game, man. It's just another, like, random, like, town setting that's, like, it's got, like kind of bunkerish style, or, like, kind of like trench warfare, I guess, sort of style of fighting sometimes. And it plays well, again, but I just wish, again, the setting. It's just, remember in the Ghost ranking video, we were talking about Mutiny and Pharaoh and Ruins, all these maps that had super cool settings with super unique, like, things going on in them, and then this is what we get in Vanguard. 12th place. Oh my lord, they answered our calls. The lord above me answered my calls. Thank you, because it's called Beheaded, and Beheaded is fought in like a New York City subway like section area, and it's like the downside of like a war that went on in New York City. That's pretty unique. There's a freaking, the reason why it's called Beheaded is because the head of the Statue of Liberty is on the map, which is obviously really cool. Like, it's a cool designed map. And then unfortunately though, they made it too large. It's just like, why are you doing this to me, Call of Duty? It's like you're doing it on purpose. Coming in at 11th place, however, is super unique and honestly just a good map overall, Mayhem. Mayhem is this really smartly designed map where it's kind of like a movie set. It's like the Godzilla movie set, and so your characters, your soldiers, are huge, and you're like running through this like town that's super small. Obviously you'll see it on the screen, you know what I'm talking about. That's a really smart idea, and it kind of takes the, you know how in Firing Range it has that little set there in one of the spawns of like the movie set, like your Godzilla again. It takes that and puts it on a whole map, and it's really cool. Actually, it's a really fun map to play on. Unfortunately, I don't think it's like the best map in the game. It's just like weird layouts. There's so many different routes and stuff to take in it. I just don't really care for that too much, but I do think the design choice was cool. And at 10th place is an obvious one. It's Shipment. Yeah, Shipment is going to be in pretty much every single Call of Duty that can put Shipment in it. As long as it's not made by Treyarch, they're going to put Shipment in it. And Shipment is a tried and true good map. I don't think it's a great map. I think some people overrate the crap out of Shipment. It was a great map the first couple times I played it, but at this point I've played Shipment more than probably any other Call of Duty map ever, so I'm just not the biggest fan of it anymore. But it's overall just it's a good, fast-paced, no tacticalness to it whatsoever map. And coming in at 9th place in the final one for the good tier is Ship Miss. Ship Miss is just a Christmas version of Shipment. I do think it's cooler though than the regular old Shipment from Vanguard, because for some reason the regular Shipment feels so cramped in Vanguard, but the Ship Miss doesn't feel that cramped, so I do like it slightly better. And I also just like the design choices. I also love how every year everybody gets all excited for the new Call of Duty launch, and around Christmas time is when they come out. So it's around Christmas time and it's in the winter, everybody's cozy inside your house, and you got this this Christmas style maps that they always release. I love that. I love the vibes of stuff like that, so I'm gonna put Ship Miss one spot higher, but obviously it doesn't play any different from the regular Shipment, so that's it. All right, so now we are into the amazing tier, and surprisingly, a lot of maps in the amazing tier and even the best tier are original, like, base game maps from Vanguard. Like I said, I actually think they did do pretty well with map designs in this game. I just don't understand why they didn't like bring any of these back, or they just changed the setting of some of them. But yeah, maps in this tier are maps that I think need to like have a remake almost. And 8th place is a perfect one of that. Subpens. Subpens is a fun map. It's like it's a submarine, like, you know, facility area, and so the setting isn't obviously that cool or anything, but it plays really well. It's pretty much all like catwalks, and it's like a very long, almost like kind of like, remember Hijacked from Black Ops 2? It almost kind of plays like that, and it's really fun. And coming in at 7th place is another original base game map, the USS Texas. USS Texas is yet again another map where most of the lanes are very tight, narrow, long lanes. And I love when maps do that. It again reminds me somewhat of Hijacked. Obviously, it's not as good as Hijacked. Hijacked is probably one of my favorite maps in Call of Duty history. But it's fighting on a boat is always fun. I know a lot of Call of Duty maps have done this at this point. It's not like a new thing that they decided to do. But like I said, every time that they do it, it's a fun time. And USS Texas is a pretty fun time as well. It is slightly too large for a boat map, but it's okay. Coming in at 6th place, however, is going to be going to Radar. Yeah, Radar is another one of the DLC maps that I never played, but it's pretty obvious that I would like it because it's based off of Modern Warfare 3's Dome. And they took the idea of Modern Warfare 3's Dome map being like a pretty cool, like, you know, dome facility thing, and just made it another pretty boring, old, random, like, town that you're fighting in, which I'm not the biggest fan of the design choices here because that's Vanguard for you, but at least it plays like Dome. You know, Dome is a fun freaking map. It's always been a fun map. Every time they remake Dome, it's going to be fun, and so Radar's okay. And coming in at 5th place, however, is going to be going to Castle. Now, Castle is a map that I actually played, even though it was a DLC added on map. I think they added it like very fast into the game, or maybe I'm just thinking about World at War because this is a World at War remake of that. I don't know, I don't remember the name of it, but that map, well, you can see what it is on the screen here, and it's fun. Obviously, when they remake maps from old games that were already fun, they're going to be fun in that game as well. I think it's better than the original World at War one? No, but it's Castle. It's fun. It's a fun map. I actually think they should remaster this map more often. It's one of my favorite World at War maps, and it's a really good map in this game as well. And coming in at 4th place, and the final one for the amazing tier before we get into the best tier, is called Eagle's Nest. Eagle's Nest is a base game original map, but wow, is it fun. I don't know what it is about this map, but it's actually a lot of fun. And then on top of that, they actually kind of nailed the aesthetic of it. It's like you're on top of this like mountain, this snowy mountain, and it's nice and bright up there. It's a really beautiful freaking map, and it's really close quarters combat, but there are lanes where you can be a sniper and be an Eagle's Nest type of sniper thing. And it's just overall a super freaking fun map, man. For a base game map, like I said, base game maps in Vanguard were actually really, really well done, and Eagle's Nest is one of them. But now we are into the best tier, and the 3 maps that are in this tier are truly maps that I like genuinely would just really want them to bring back. 3rd place is Numa Numa. Numa Numa, having a weird name for sure, it is just a really freaking fun map. It's a trench warfare style map. It's all trenches, but it's like pretty close quarters combat, but you can get on top of the trenches if you want to, but obviously that runs the risk of getting taken out because it's no man's land, and so pretty much everybody can see you when you're up there, but you can use that to flank. It is a really, really well designed map. Numa Numa needs to make a comeback. It's close quarters, but it's also like you can still be tactical. Like, it's, don't get me wrong, just because it's a small map doesn't mean that you can't be tactical and take the enemies by surprise. You can. It's a really well made map. I think Numa Numa needs a comeback. And coming in at 2nd place is a remake. It's Dome from World at War. It's literally called Dome in World at War, and it's called Dome in this game. It's the exact same map as Dome in World at War. If you remember Dome from World at War, which is one of the game's best maps in my opinion, then you'll like this one. It's a close quarters combat map yet again, but again, it is a map that does have some slight, you know, different paths that you can go on. You can also become a sniper, you can be an LMG player, you can be an AR player, you can be whoever you want on Dome, and you can do pretty good on it. It's just a fun map. It is a remake, so it's obviously a little bit cheap. Obviously, I don't like to rank the remakes this high, but Dome is a good map, and they don't remake it all the time, and so it's not like it's something that's been overplayed like Nuketown or Shipment. But 1st place, my favorite Vanguard map, and honestly like an incredible map just overall, is going to Bocage, or Bocage, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this. It's an original base game map. This map is so freaking slept on. Hear me out. Like, you're going to be seeing it in the background. I'm sure you guys remember it because it's a base game map. This map just, I don't know what it is about this map. It played so well. It was, in my opinion, the absolute perfect size. It wasn't too big, but it wasn't too small either. It was an absolutely incredible size. There was tons of different flank routes you could go on and like get behind the enemies and do stuff like that as well, but you could also close down these flanks. It was so much fun, and you could be any person that you want. Again, sniper, AR, LMG, SMG, shotgun, doesn't matter what you wanted to use, you could use it on this map and do pretty well. It was just I know I've said it multiple times, I sound like a broken record. It was a fun map. I need them to bring it back, please. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video, ranking all 28 Call of Duty Vanguard multiplayer maps from worst to best. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos that you see in the comment section down below. And yeah, that's part, like I said, I think it's part 6. Let me do the counting real quick. Black Ops 6 was 1. Black Ops 2 was 2. Ghost was 3. MW3 was 4. Black Ops 4 was 5. Vanguard is 6. Yeah, so that was part 6. So part 7 will be obviously the next Call of Duty that I want to do. I don't know what I'm going to do though. I'm thinking Infinite Warfare. Call me crazy, but I want to get the bad ones out of the way. We did Vanguard, we go on to Infinite Warfare, both the bad ones are done. I don't have to talk about Infinite Warfare or Vanguard for a very long time, and that makes me happy to think about. So maybe I'll do both, maybe I'll do Infinite Warfare next, but maybe I'll do one that's more popular. You know, maybe I'll do like MW19 or I don't know. If anybody has a recommendation in the comments below of what map, what game they'd like to see me rank the maps in next, let me know, of course. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I know there's just only 8 of us, but it really means the world to me. You guys are awesome. So anyway, das vidanya. Have a nice night.